What's up, everybody? This is Ghetto187 for OneWrestling.com. Big thanks to Bill After and Big Ray Hernandez. Let's get started with tonight's Impact Wrestling's review show for 12/14/2017. First off, we start off with a promo video hyping up the main event for the Knockouts Championship. And that match is going to be Laurel Van Ness versus Rosemary. So we start off Impact Wrestling with a fatal four-way, if you would say, with Sienna, Casey Spinelli, Madison Rayne, and Ali. And the winner gets a title match for the new Knockouts champion next week. And it's a great way to start off the night. No one really dominates the match. Everyone is pretty much even. Sienna goes for the AK-47 at the end of the match on Madison Rayne, but out of nowhere, Ali shoves Madison Rayne and goes for a roll-up for Sienna for a sneak win. I did like the match. It's a good way to showcase that you don't have to always start off with like an X Division Championship match or a talking segment. Go straight into some action. And it's a good way to build up again the Knockouts division. So it's a great way to start it off, and I'm liking this match in particular because, as I said in my last review, Ali has been showing that she's more dominant. She's been showing more aggression, and it's a good way to freshen things up with her character. And then the second match of the night is a tag team X Division match with the Cult of Lee, obviously Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley versus Ishimori and Desmond Xavier. Now, we start off with Trevor Lee and Ishimori. They do a lot of takedown holds, a lot of strong style moves, very prominent of, the Japanese culture, very Japanese inspired. The Cult of Lee dominates most of the match. They do a great tag team. I feel like they do make a great tag team. That's why they are good together. Obviously, they're trained by the Omega school from the Hardy Boys, the North Carolina boys themselves. And towards the end of the match, they put Desmond Xavier like in the Tree of Woe position, hanging up from the one of the corners of the ring. And Caleb Conley is going for like a double foot stomp to Desmond Xavier, and Trevor Lee is getting Ishimori into like a pile driver position. Desmond, while he's still in the Tree of Woe position, gets the strength to go ahead and kick. Caleb Conley knocks him out of the actual top rope, and Ishimori doing a reversal, pinning Lee. Now, with that being said and done, the first match of the night, we had a surprise roll-up victory from Ali out of nowhere. And then we have like another similar finish for the second match of the night with the X Division tag team match. Now, I'm not sure if that's the correct move to do, but nonetheless, entertaining match whatsoever. So, next thing that happens is we get a video package, once again, hyping up the storyline between James Storm, Moose, and America's Top Team. From there, we return from the commercial break, and we see Alberto El Patron, Johnny Impact, P.D. Williams. They are working together as a tag team, and they would face Eli Drake, Chris Adonis, and a mystery opponent. Next, we see a Gail Kim package showing how she won the first ever TNA Knockouts Championship at Bound for Glory 2007. It's a great way to show the history of the title. It makes it feel important, and it gives it more credibility. As we know, the whole part of the show that they're promoting is the new Knockouts Championship match, and it is for the main event. Not always do we see the women finish off the show in the main event. So next we see a six-man tag team match between the team of Alberto El Patron, Johnny Impact, and P.D. Williams against Eli Drake and Chris Adonis. But who is their mystery opponent? Out comes Jimmy Jacobs. That's right, Jimmy Jacobs, former WWE writer, the guy who created the list of Chris Jericho and many more things. He comes out and says, despite what anybody else thinks, he is a good guy. He's not here to hurt anyone. He's here to help. And tonight, Eli Drake and Chris Adonis need help. They need another man on their team, but he's not that man. But he did promise them a partner. He says he didn't get them a partner. He gave them something so much better. He gave them a savage. He's walking proof that God did not create all men equal. He got them the new monster of Impact Wrestling, and that monster is Congo Kong. Now I'm going to admit I'm a little bit confused since Congo Kong has already debuted. I would love to have seen somebody else debut. It's a perfect opportunity to get a new face. I was secretly hoping it was Ryback, even though I didn't hear any spoilers saying that Ryback was coming to Impact Wrestling. But that would have been a great opportunity to bring in Ryback, since he hasn't really done anything since he left the WWE. But nonetheless, a good way to hype up the new monster, Congo Kong, even though he's not technically new. All right. And just as we thought, great moves coming in from everybody. Knowing the buildup of the storyline from everybody involved in this match, it was easy to tell that Alberto El Patron and Johnny Impact would not get along as a tag team. So before I get to the finish of the match, I do want to point out that I feel like it was a great move to put in Congo Kong. He definitely dominated. The way he just manhandled Petey Williams and took him out of the match. And now to the ending of the match. Johnny Impact is going for his finishing move on Eli Drake, the Starship Pain, as he attempts to go for the pin. Alberto El Patron takes out Johnny Impact to the outside and takes him towards the steel ramp, and he does a DDT. So, as I mentioned earlier, we already know there's heated rivalry between these two. And as he performs the DDT, while Eli Drake is still on the ground inside the ring, he goes to the top rope and performs a frog splash. And he goes for the 1, 2, and 3, pins Eli Drake. He is still the Impact Global Champion. Keep in mind, this was not a title match, but it was a 6-man tag match. And we do get an announcement from JB and Josh Matthews saying on the first Impact tapings of 2018, it will now be Alberto El Patron, based on what he did with the match, versus Eli Drake for the Global Impact Championship. Now, next thing we see is a funny segment between Joseph Park, and I'm just going to call him Ethan Page. Ethan Page goes to Joseph Park, and he's going to, he says it's going to be a new year, and that he wants to come in as a professional wrestler, and that, you know, basically Joseph Park says, you do not want to become a wrestler. He goes, he doesn't want him to be taken out like that Mark, Bully Ray, which was pretty funny. I know that there's no real heat between these two, but it's a good way to, you know, talk about the history of Impact Wrestling, even though they are trying to build in a new fan base and start fresh. Next thing after that segment, Moose comes out with James Storm. Moose calls Bobby Lashley, I'm going to curse here, a bitch boy Lashley. He calls him bitch boy Lashley. And James Storm says that he wants Dan Lambert on a one-on-one match. Dan Lambert says he does not know why wrestlers always want to fight MMA guys, and that Dan Lambert calls James Storm the face of Impact Wrestling. He says that he is the face of Impact Wrestling because he's been there since day one. He's outlasted everyone else, and that he is one of the toughest wrestlers on the roster. And then he says that because he's the face of Impact, he wants to challenge him in a career match. Says that if James Storm loses, he has to leave Impact Wrestling for good. And I'm not going to chime in on other reasons why. We know what's going to be the potential outcome. I do not want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't been looking at the dirt sheets. But this could potentially be James Storm's last match. And as James Storm attempts to go for a super kick on Dan Lambert, but Dan Lambert, he actually dodges, and out comes KM. Now, for those who have been watching the storyline build-up between what's going on with KM and with America's Top Team, KM actually wants to showcase that he is tough, that he can hang with the boys of America's Top Team. He wants to prove himself as a worthy opponent for anyone that gets thrown in his way, and that he can be the hired muscle pretty much. And then after that, we get several video packages hyping up the main event of the evening for the Knockouts Women's Championship. It has been vacant after, what's her name, Gail Kim relinquished the title. She is officially retired from Impact Wrestling. So out comes Laurel Van Ness versus Rosemary for the Knockouts title. Now, again, I do not want to go into what we already know for those who have been reading the reports. I don't want to ruin anything for people who do actually just watch the product like myself. Even though I do watch the product weekly, I am aware of certain situations. But nonetheless, Laurel Van Ness is pretty much dominating the matchup from the get-go. Rosemary gets some great offensive moves. The crowd is very much behind Rosemary, as I am. I'm very behind Rosemary, big fan of her. I would have loved to have seen her win tonight's match. And with that, yes, Laurel Van Ness did win the Impact Knockouts Championship match. And some people say it's a good move. Some people say it's a bad move. I'm just going to sit and wait and see what's going on. Everything that's online is just speculation and rumors. There's no official word as to what's going on with the Impact Knockouts title. What's with the status with Laurel Van Ness. I don't think she's going anywhere based on a couple of things. And for people who do not want to hear this, please click away, put mute, skip maybe the next 30 seconds on your phone or whatever you watch this. But Impact Wrestling denied her release, just so you know. So looks like Laurel Van Ness is here to stay. Looks like they're being firm. And I'm actually going to applaud them for those who don't know. Okay, guys, if you did skip the 30 seconds, I appreciate it. You can come back. So after this match, after we celebrate the new women's champion, they are hyping up that it is going to be Allie versus Laurel Van Ness for the Knockouts title. After this whole match happened, we go to the last backstage segment, and that is Sami Callihan calling out LAX, and he's saying that he wants LAX gone. He wants Homicide gone. He doesn't want Conan there. He wants to take out LAX for the very last time. Obviously, I don't think LAX is going anywhere. We got to stay tuned. But this was me, Ghetto 187, for Indie Pro Wrestling for OneWrestling.com. We want to thank again Bill Apter for giving me this opportunity to go ahead and talk about Impact Wrestling for you every week going on forward. And again, I want to give big props to Big Ray Hernandez. And for those who don't know, the actual music that's playing, I produced that music. It is for my new album that comes out March 27th, 2018. The single is called Life of a G. After the actual album, Life of a G, I do not rap, but I am a music producer. Go ahead and check it out. The actual album does come out December 15th, 2017. And I meant to say the actual single comes out December 15th, 2017. So who knows, by the time you're viewing this, it might already be December 15th, 2017. But go ahead and check it out. It's available on all digital stores online where they sell music. So we're talking Amazon, we're talking Apple Music, we're talking iTunes, we're talking Google Play, Spotify, anywhere you can get music. Go ahead and support me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. Let us know what we can do to make all of this great content for you come at a faster pace. And don't forget to give us another big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you.